You're thinking about lunch when the first person disappears. You're halfway through reconciling a batch of identity records, routine work, low stakes, the kind that rewards speed more than curiosity. One name doesn't match. It exists in tax records, hospital logs, a driver's license database, but when you check the central registry, the person isn't there. Not flagged, not deceased, not archived, just gone. You refresh, still nothing. You've seen corrupted data before. This isn't corruption. It's too clean. Every trace removed from the core, but echoes still floating in smaller systems that haven't caught up yet. You hesitate. Protocol says report it. You don't. Something about how precise it is makes you pause. You leave it open, tell yourself you'll come back to it. You don't get the chance. Your system locks. The screen goes black. The door behind you opens and two people walk in like they own the room. They don't introduce themselves. One turns your monitor away, the other tells you to stand. You do. They ask you one question. Did you report the discrepancy? No. Why? I wasn't sure it was an error. They look at each other, not surprised, not angry. Good, one says. That word hits wrong. They turn your screen back. The missing record is still there in fragments. That wasn't an error, the other says. That was a removal. You don't fully understand, but you feel it. The difference between something breaking and something being erased on purpose. They offer you a choice. Walk away, sign a silence agreement, lose your career, or stay and help them finish what you started noticing. You ask the only question that matters. What happens to the people who get removed? They stop existing in the systems that define reality, one says. Everything else follows. You sign before you fully process it. That's how it begins. At first, you're just cleaning up. When someone is removed, it's not enough to delete one record. You have to erase every trace. Bank accounts, employment, hospital visits, licenses, travel logs, anything that proves they were ever here. You start small, close accounts, flag inconsistencies, let automated systems justify the changes so nothing looks forced. It's not about deleting a person. It's about making the world agree they were never there. You get good at it, better than good. You learn the architecture behind identity, the hidden connections between systems, the dependencies no one thinks about. You learn where traces hide. You learn how to eliminate them without triggering alarms. Months turn into years. You stop seeing people. You see structures. Some cases are simple. A person with minimal footprint disappears in hours. Others take weeks. Deep histories, international ties, too many records to clean without causing ripples. You adapt. You plan removals like operations. Sequence matters. If you delete the core identity too early, systems panic. If you go too slow, inconsistencies build. You find the balance. And then your role changes. You're no longer just executing. You're deciding. Names come to you before action is taken. Can this person be removed cleanly? You analyze dependencies, visibility, risk. Sometimes you say no, too many connections, too much chance something remains. Sometimes you say yes. Those are the ones that disappear. At some point, you realize something no one tells you. You are not just cleaning history, you are controlling it. Who stays recorded? Who vanishes? Who gets remembered? Who becomes unprovable? You don't question it at first. You tell yourself the decisions aren't yours. You're just making them possible. Until one day, a name appears that breaks that illusion. You recognize it instantly. Someone from your old life. Not close, but real. A person you've spoken to, worked with. Someone who exists in your memory, not just in data.
Their file is thin. No detailed justification, just a directive. Remove. You stare at it longer than you should. Technically, it's easy. Their digital footprint is manageable. You could erase them cleanly in a day. You don't move. For the first time, the abstraction collapses. This isn't a record, it's a person, and you're the one deciding whether they get to exist in the world's memory. You consider your options. Refuse? The case gets reassigned. Someone else does it. Delay? That buys time, nothing more. Or change the rules. You start the process, but not the way you normally would. Instead of deleting everything, you split it. You isolate the core identity markers, the pieces every system relies on, and you duplicate them carefully, imperfectly. You create a shadow version, not identical, not official, but close enough to anchor fragments. Then you begin the removal. Accounts close, records vanish, systems update. The official identity disappears, but the shadow remains. Not fully connected, not fully recognized, but alive in the margins, just enough to keep certain doors from closing completely. It's risky. The system isn't designed for this, but it works. Barely. The case is marked complete. No one questions it. That's when you realize something more dangerous than the power to erase. You can bend the system. Quietly, precisely, without anyone noticing. After that, everything changes. You keep doing your job. Names still come. People still disappear. But sometimes, when you decide it matters, you leave behind fragments, small inconsistencies, hidden redundancies, threads that refuse to fully break. Not enough to expose the system, just enough to resist it. Years pass. You rise higher, more control, less oversight. Eventually, no one checks your work in detail. They trust the outcomes. You become the final step, the last decision before someone is removed from history, and the only one who knows that sometimes they aren't. One night, you're alone, reviewing another case. A powerful individual, deeply embedded. Removing them will reshape entire systems. You run the analysis. Possible. Difficult. Clean if done right. You pause. You think about all the names you've processed, the ones you erased completely, the ones you let linger in the shadows. You think about what history actually is. Not truth, not memory, just what remains recorded, and you control that. The thought doesn't feel powerful anymore. It feels dangerous, because there's no limit, no final decision, no endpoint. As long as the system exists, someone will decide who gets removed, and as long as you're here, that someone is you. You proceed with the case, you execute it perfectly, and like before, you leave something behind, small, invisible, a fracture in the system, another person who isn't entirely gone. You close the file, the world updates, history adjusts, and you sit there, understanding something no one else can. Every version of reality people believe in is only the version that wasn't erased. And you are the only one deciding what survives.